Hello everyone. In this tutorial, I am going to explain what is the TDD and how we are going to use the TDD into our application. So basically for explaining the things about the TDD, so I will talk about the TDD, what is TDD and why we need TDD. But before that, what I am going to done in this tutorial actually. So for demonstrating the TDD approaches, so actually basically we are going to test some REST controller and the services layer. So for that we are going to create one SpringBoot applications. Over there I am going to create one REST controller with some APIs, GET APIs and the POST APIs, and then we are going to test those things by using the TDD approaches. So for creating this REST controller and all, also we need to have some services class into our applications. It's a kind of very basic thing, right? So for testing the service classes also we are going to write the unit test cases using this TDD approaches. So now if we talked about that what is TDD, so TDD means it's a test driven development. Means TDD is a software development practice where basically we are going to write the test case before starting any application code, right? So means actually we are focusing on creating the unit test cases before developing the actual code. Right, means we will write the test case before implementing the actual application code. This is called the test driven development. Like suppose let's say one example, if we are going to like get all the posts from some APIs, or maybe there is some another APIs, from there we need to fetch the data from some databases. So for that we need to write one controller and then some services, and then service will talk up with some repository, right? So before writing the code actually we are going to write some test cases for controller and then for controller to service layer, so that after writing the end of the unit test cases the code is also completed. So this is all about this TDD. Now if we talked about like why we need TDD, so mostly like we are focusing on one feature actually while we are following this TDD approach. So in this approach code becomes clean and easily maintainable code. And you know, like clean and maintainable code easily we can maintain, we can't easily expand anywhere. So this kind of flexibility is there if this is a clean code and the modularized code, right? So whenever we are trying to implement this TDD kind of approach into our application, then it look like it's taking a more time than actually it's taken. But it will give us the benefit when we are developing a complex project, and it will benefit for us in a long run, right? So we are designing the system based on what we want it to be rather than what the system actually does. So if we talked about the benefit of this one, so it's application code that guides to write the minimum code, and clean code implementation when all the tests are processed, so we have the working implementation of the code. So this is the kind of benefit, right? Next we will talk about the cycle of TDD. Means whenever actually we are going to develop any applications using the TDD approaches, so that particular approach it's have some means we need to follow some approaches, like there's a certain defined things that we need to follow. It's a kind of one it's a not a architecture kind of things, it's a kind of theoretical things. Red, green, refactor and repeat. So red means first we need to write the test case, unit test case, means write a failing test case and for the entire functionalities. So let's say whenever any requirement will come, then we don't have the code, so we need to write the JUnit first. So if we talked about the writing the JUnit first without actual implementation, then it will give us some compilation issues. We are not able to run this program. So before writing the code, first we need to write the test cases. So if we write the test cases before code, it will fail, and then we need to write the business logic to make the unit cases first. So the second concept about the green, like here we need to write the required code or the business logic to make the unit test cases pass. So that is talked about the green. And refactor means if is there any chances of refactoring the code, or maybe we having some duplication of code, so that we need to remove. So kind of refactor, there are certain factors of refactoring the code that if there are any chances of refactoring the code, that we need to follow over here. And the last point is the repeat. Repeat this cycle red, green and refactor for other functionalities also. So next actually we will I will create one Spring Boot project so that I can demonstrate for how we are going to write the Junit before writing any code or implementation. So for that I'm going to use the certain technology like Java 11, then not Java 11, not actually Java 17 I'm going to use, then like I can use Maven, then JPA, JUnit 5, Mockito. These are the technologies that I'm going to use over here. So without further ado, let's create some project and give the demo how we are following these TDD approaches for developing any application using the Spring Boot. So for creating the Spring Boot project, we can directly create the project from Spring Boot initializer. This is the site. So here we can just select the options like what kind of project we need to do for our application, like it's maybe Maven or maybe Gradle. It's a Java project. Then we have choose the Spring Boot version 3.2.4. Then here grouped artifact name, description, and the package name and packaging and the Java version. So Java version I'm using as a 17. And here we need to choose the dependencies like Spring Boot dev tools, then like Lombok just to avoid the getter and setter, then Spring Web for creating the REST APIs and all, then JPA also we need for connecting with the database and all, for writing the repositories kind of things. So those kind of things we can use from over here. So these are the dependencies basically we can't use over here. So once we click on this generate, then it will create us the project for us. Then just like we need to import this project into our whatever the ID we are using. So I am using this I am using Eclipse. So over here I have imported this project, and then it will be look like something this. Okay. So over here we can check this form.xml. So here like you can see that what are the dependencies we have used over here, like this starter data JPA, starter web dev tools, Lombok, starter test. So this actually starter test having actually all the dependencies related to the what you can say related to this testing kind of things. So if we can check from over here also, like let me check this one test. So this test actually this it's include all the things, all the related jar and all those what are the related to for running the JUnit and all those things. So it's having all the related jars in this under this Spring Boot starter test jar. So now like we can write the, you can see that JUnit Jupyter is 5 version over here, that is over here. Then Mockito 5.7 this version also used. So these are the dependencies basically need for writing the JUnit test cases. So now like what basically we can do over here, we can we will create the test cases first, and then we will write the respective classes whatever we need. Okay. So first of all, as a testing for here we are going to use some kind of post related thing. So first of all we need to create the post controller related test cases. So over here as you can see there is a one this is the we can say this is the test related packaging over here. So here we can create one test class, right? So let's say the class name would be post controller test. Okay, post controller test. So because we are going to testing post kind of thing testing class, so as we are going to testing the controller classes, so for that we need to annotate this particular class with web MVC test. So what is the purpose of this web MVC test? So this annotation is basically used to web MVC test, this one. So this annotation is basically used to using the Spring MVC test. It's basically using all the required dependencies, what those required dependencies are needed for writing the test cases and all. So this is the basically annotation that is used to writing the related dependencies is taken for this class. So now if we want to test, like there is a one API, let's say, let's assume we need to create first of all get all post. Okay, so for that we need to write one test class over here, something like private, it would be public, void, then test find all post. Okay, so here what we are expecting, it will return this particular API will return all the all the post related to the post. So let's say we are having two posts, so we can define details over here like list of post. Post is a DTO, posts equals to new array list. Okay, okay. Okay, so now you can see we are getting the compilation issues for this post, because post we have not created this DTO, because we are going to create. Okay, in later on we are going to create. Now so this post is getting created. Now we need to also initialize this post. So when we are going to initialize, before starting the test cases, so before this annotation there is a one annotation which is doing the execute any method. So here we are going to write this one. So void, then setup method is there, setup. Okay, so here we can say post equals to list of, here we can say new post, this is the ID, then user ID, then like title, then like body. Okay, okay, so this is one post. Another post we need to create like post. So let's say the post ID is 2, user ID same, and then like some content. So title, let's say post 1. Okay, and this is first post, it is a, let's say post hyphen 2, and this is second post. Okay, now what we will do, we will create this post because it is giving us the comparison issue. So we need to create this post. So we can create the record for this one. Okay, so here we can create this one. Okay, either better to create over here. Okay, so we can create this one, and we need to add this properties, like add this field like integer ID, integer user ID, then string title, string body. Okay, okay, so this is done now. Okay, now the compilation is gone. So here now what we are going to do, so basically from the controller it will talk with the service layer, then from the service to the repository. So here basically let's assume we are having one service class. So we need to like mock the bin of this service layer. So let's say the service class name is post service to post service. Okay, so here now, so as you can see we are getting the car because we need to create this service. So we are going to call this one when post service dot find all. Okay, and here we need to find all post, let's say when it will, then it will basically return, then return all the post. Okay, So this is the first we need to mock, like whenever this particular service is going to execute this one, then it will give this data. Okay, next what we will do over here, like here we need to create one mock MVC. Okay, so let's create this one mock MVC. So here we need to use this mock bin annotation. Okay, so for this mock MVC, actually instead of mock bin we need to use this auto aware. Okay, and here we are going to use this mock MVC. Mock MVC. Okay, so using this mock MVC we are going to call the APIs. So here mock MVC dot perform. What we need to perform? We need to call API. So what kind of API it is? It's a GET API, right? So it's a basically GET API. So here we can define GET, and like we need to define the path over here, like let's say slash API slash GET, or maybe find all post. Okay, find all post. So once we will call this one, so what we are basically expecting, so we are expecting we are getting the success response from this method. So here it's having another method like and expect status dot is okay. Okay, and also we are going to expect some JSON output over here. Okay, and expect first of all we need to create this service layer. Okay, else we are getting this one. So create class post service over here. Yeah, okay, so here we need to create the post service, and then we need to annotate this particular method with service class, right? Service annotation. Okay, so next we need to create one method over here, right? Find all method. So we need to create over here find all. It will return list of post. Okay, so here basically we need to use some repository. So okay, so first of all here it will return some null. Okay, so now we are going to get it giving us the some exception. We need to import get get is basically coming from this mock MVC request filter. So I need to import this one from over here. Okay, status also it's like status and content, it's coming from those are static method over here. So here what we are expecting like some JSON response from over here. Okay, so how we are going to say this one, like here and expect content, this one. Then over here we can like content, what type of content? It's a JSON, and here we need to pass the like response of the post, like what kind of response basically we are going to get over here. So we need to define some JSON over here, and it is throw the exception, we can throw it. Okay, so we can like basically we can store the result actually over here using this result actions. Okay, now we can okay, let me okay, now how we are going to use this uh, assert equals over here. So for checking like the result is correct or not, so assert equals is there. So how we are going to check this one, like we are going to predefine some responses like this is some kind of predefined responses. We need to update with this. Okay, and this is second post. Okay, so now this JSON response basically it will check with the like result action dot and return dot get response dot get content as a string. Okay, so in this way basically you can check the like response is coming or not. So as you can see over here, we are like from this post service we need to return this particular response, right? So how we are going to return this response, like we can't return this response from over here directly, just copy this one, return this one, so that it will return this one. Okay, so now from the controller we are getting this. If we run this one, so let me run this one. So first of all we will get some exception, right? Why? Because we have not created the controller over here, correct? So it will give us some exception that it's working. Okay, you can see we are getting the exception. Status is 404 because this API basically is not it's able to find. So we have not write the controller layer. We have write this DT over here. We are writing this post service over here. So we have not write this controller. So we need to write the controller class over here. So here we are going to create one controller like class post controller. Okay, so this controller basically we need to create over here. What APIs we are going to create over here. So first of all we need to annotate this REST controller. Okay, and then we need to map as a request mapping. Okay, we need to use this request mapping and then slash let it be. Okay, and here we are going to create one method over here. Okay, for find all the post. So here public list of post find all post. This was the method, right? Find all post. And here we don't need any input over here. It will be a like get mapping, the rate get mapping, and here we need to provide this path over here slash find mapping. Okay, so what we are going to return over here, we need to basically call this service, right? Private then post service, and then using this post service basically we need to call this find all post. Okay, so return statement. Okay, so in this way basically we can call this one, right? So now we can run this one. Now let me run this, run as Junit test. Okay, so now we are getting the status is 200, but the body, actually the content type, it's not matching. So that's why actually it's got failed, unparsable JSON string. So it is not able to parse this JSON. So because here we need to add this one, right? Here in this test, here actually we need to pass this JSON response. This response we need to pass. Okay, now if we rerun this one, okay, so now expected this one means content is basically not matching. Okay, so why? Because like here we have the, this is the different, the title basically is different. This is the post one and this is post 2. So that's why title was not matching. So that's why it's causing issues now. Hope it will work now. Okay, so expected this, but it was okay. So here basically we need to done little bit of modifications because like what you can see over here, this content and this content both are same, but somehow they are not able to matching using this one. So here there is a, for comparing this JSON kind of thing, so there is a one like class actually. So JSON assert is there, JSON assert, and it is also having this assert equals, and here we need to pass like the strict is not, so we need to pass this as false. So you can see if we over this one assert equals, so boolean strict, enable strict checking, like it will check with the strict, but here we don't need to checked as a strict. So now if we run this one, run this test cases now, so let's see. Now it should pass because we have used this JSON assert over here. Okay, now you can see this is passing now. So what we have done over here, we have write the test cases, but before write means we have started writing the test cases first, and then we are gradually create the controller and all those things. So in this way basically we have to write the test cases. Okay, in TDD approach. Next, if we want to like do some another APIs like find post by ID. Okay, so there is a maybe another API find post by ID. So here instead of one we can give the one response over here. So this is the things, and then what it will return actually. So here post service basically we need to create another method like find by ID. Okay, and here we need to pass the ID, okay, and then it will give us the ID, means it will return the only single record. Okay, so how it will return, like it will maybe we can create one post over here like something like new post, Okay, over here new post, and here we can pass the ID like 1,1, and then we need to pass this header, title, and then description means body. Okay, this one. So we need to now, as you can see over here, we are getting this compilation issues, so we need to create this method over here, and it will return, instead of list, it will return single post object like this. Okay, so we can delete this list, and here it will return this one. Okay, and it will be a post. Okay, so now if we call this find by ID here, so then what this response will get, and rest will be same, and here the here will be also, we need to pass this ID, right, because we are finding by ID, so this ID also we need to pass over here. Now if we perform these test cases, so let me run this one. So what it will do, it will pass for this one but fail for this one, because we don't have this API over here, we had not created this API, so we need to create this API over here, find by ID, right? So let me run this, let complete this run, then we will create this IP in the post controller. So all post is, you can see this is the pass, but this ID is not pass over here yet, so we need to create one API over here like find by ID. So it will be find by ID. Okay, and here we need to pass int ID. Okay, and it will be a request parameter, correct, or we can say it's a, instead of request parameter, it will be a path variable. Okay, and then post service find by ID, and here we need to pass this ID, and it will be a get mapping, and it will be a find by ID, and here it will be a post. Okay, so now we have created this this API over here. Now if we run this one, so it should pass now, right? So let me run only this one. It will not take much time. It is failing, getting 200. Why it is find by ID? Let me check this one. Find by ID, and here actually we need to pass this path variable. Here we need to pass this variable ID. Okay, let me run this one. Okay, expected JSON array got JSON object. Okay, let me check. Okay, so here basically the content type, it's not a JSON array, right? So here we are going to is okay, is fine, expect content JSON, and then JSON response, this is also fine, but here instead of array we need to return only single data over here, right, because it's not an array, so that's why it's got issues over here. Okay, now you can see, now it is passing, right, because now if we run these two APIs over here, so two API will be passed. So this is the basically approach to create the TDD approach, following the follow the TDD approach, means first we need to write the test cases, and then we need to we need to write the code for the actual implementation. So now you can see both test cases are passing now with respective responses, and also it's matching the content, right? So this is the like options for like following the TDD approaches. So next, so this is for the controller layer. So here I can also create more APIs, but it will actually take time, but you guys can try to create more APIs over here. I'm just trying to create just demonstrating purpose, so that these two APIs is fine. I think I also hoping that you guys can understand like how we are going to write the TDD approaches for this one. Next, what I will show you, I will show you like how we are going to write the TDD approaches for post services, right? So let me create that for one. So now we will focus like how we are going to write the test cases for post services. As you can see over here, from the controller actually we are calling this service layer, but from the service layer actually we are calling the dummy data over here. But instead of calling the dummy data, but actually we need to talk with some like databases, maybe MySQL, maybe Postgre, maybe Oracle. So how we are going to write the test cases for this predefined post services, right? The service layer. So here first of all we need to create one post service test class like we have created for the controller layer, right? So here we can create post service test. Okay, so here like we need to write the, so let's say like from the post services we need to call the any JPA layer, like then we need to use some kind of repository, right? So for that first of all we need to use some repository over here, post private post repository. Okay, so here we need to create this one. So once this will done, then like we need to create some data like when we are going to call this one. So before each method, here we need to create this some setup method over here, and also we need to inject the mocks over here. This is Mockito annotation. We need to mock this one over here, and whenever we are going to call any services, then we need to initialize this post services post data over here also. Okay, so now we need to also copy this post array list from over here. Okay, so now we can see this repository is not created, so we need to create this repository first. So for that we need to use the list card repository over here. Here we need to create this repository. It will be a list card repository or card repository, both, any of them we can use. So this is, now it will go over here. So now we are going to write the data over here, right? So basically what we will write over here in the service set, like maybe we can create this method like which will basically test all the post method over here. So here we can create the same API, same test cases, test find all the like post. So when this repository dot find all, okay, then return, we need to import this when, first of all when, so then return, it will return list of post. Okay, so next we will actually call inject the post services. So here another annotation, inject mock private post service. Okay, so using this we need to like actually we need to call the service. So actually when it will find all post, then it will return list of post actually. Okay, so we need to use some kind of assertion over here. So like assertion should be not null and the data size should be 2, correct? Okay, so this would be passed. Okay, let me run this one. Yeah, it is failed. Cannot invoke this post repository find all. Why? The reason is, like here I am not used any kind of repository, right? So here actually we need to use this repository. So you can see, right, means we can't easily find out the issues, and like we can easily fix those things. So instead of calling this directly hard-coded data over here, we need to call this repository dot find all. Same for this find by ID also over here, like repository dot find by ID. This one here we need to pass this ID. Okay, it will be ID. It will be optional, but we can't like call this get. But you can also use this optional one also. Okay, so now if we run this one, so it will be pass. Okay, what it is saying now? It is saying find all because this repository is null. Okay. Okay, here basically it will be a mock service because we don't need to call the actual services. So instead of that, we need to use the mock kind of thing. So that's why it was giving us the exception. Now if we run this one, it is success. In similar way, we can also write the test cases for find by ID. Find by ID. Okay. Okay, so here it will be a post service, then instead of that it will be a find by ID. Okay, here also we can't like we can copy this one from over here, and here we need to paste it like this when find by ID. Okay, and then okay, it will be not the optional post, but actually it was returning the optional of post. So let me create this one, optional dot off. Okay, okay, now find by ID, it will be a post. Okay, so now here you can like it will be not null, and then like obviously the size is not here, like we can check the data only. So let me run this one. Okay, now you can see the test cases are passing now. So in this way basically we can write the TDD approaches. So you can see we have covered all the things, the code is also done, and with that also test cases are also done, right? So this is the overall things that how we are going to follow the TDD approach for writing any application. So what is the benefit of it? We have write the test cases, and then also with that also we have completed our implementation. But this is kind of very easy actually demo kind of things. Here we have not tried any complex logic. So whenever we are going to work on any real application, then we may face some kind of complexities or may some kind of problems. So we need to overcome with this one. We need to write the test cases in such a way so that we need to handle all those scenarios. So this is all about actually about the TDD approaches. If you guys have anything, please do let me know in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe my channel. Please place on the bell icon so that you guys can get the notification. Thanks for your time. Thank you. Bye bye.